Unpacking the 7 key China Belt and Road Initiative projects, strategic implications for U.S. global dominance. Introduction. The Belt and Road Initiative (BRI) unveiled by Chinese President Xi Jinping in 2013 stands as a monumental undertaking aimed at enhancing China's influence through extensive infrastructure development and investment across Asia, Europe, and Africa. This ambitious strategy extends beyond mere economic engagement. It has profound geopolitical ramifications that challenge U.S. global dominance and reshape international relations. This report delves into 7 key BRI projects, their implementation challenges, public diplomacy narratives, and the broader strategic implications for the U.S. and global power dynamics. Key projects of the Belt and Road Initiative. 1. China-Pakistan Economic Corridor (CPC). CPC is one of the flagship projects of the BRI designed to enhance connectivity between China and Pakistan. Spanning over 2,700 kilometers, it encompasses highways, railways, and pipelines. Aiming to facilitate trade and energy flow from the Arabian Sea to China's Xinjiang region. CPC is seen as vital for Pakistan's economic development, yet it has drawn criticism due to concerns over debt dependency, local unrest, and environmental impacts. 2. China-Myanmar Economic Corridor (CMEC). This corridor aims to create a strategic link between China and the Indian Ocean, enhancing trade and energy security. Key projects include the development of deep-water ports and transportation networks. However, the project faces challenges such as local opposition, ethnic conflicts, and the geopolitical sensitivity of China-Myanmar relations, particularly concerning Western perceptions. 3. Port development in Sri Lanka. The Hambantota port project, a significant BRI investment, has become a focal point for discussions on debt trap diplomacy. After failing to repay Chinese loans, Sri Lanka leased the port to China for 99 years. Raising alarms in the U.S. and India about China's growing influence in the Indian Ocean. This case exemplifies the financial risks associated with BRI projects and their implications for sovereignty. 4. Greece's Piraeus Port. China's investment in Piraeus Port has transformed it into one of the busiest ports in Europe. This project not only strengthens China's foothold in Europe but also serves as a gateway for Chinese goods to enter European markets. The success of this project has raised concerns in the U.S. about China's increasing economic leverage in the Mediterranean. 5. The Trans-Asian Railway Network. This initiative seeks to establish a comprehensive rail network connecting China with Southeast Asia, South Asia, and beyond. The railway system aims to facilitate trade and economic integration. However, it faces significant implementation challenges, including geopolitical tensions in the region and the need for massive financial investment. 6. China-Europe Railway Express. This rail service connects various Chinese cities to Europe, significantly reducing transport time compared to maritime routes. The initiative enhances trade links between China and Europe, posing a challenge to traditional maritime routes that have been dominated by Western powers. The success of this service has implications for global supply chains and trade dynamics. 7. Digital Silk Road. Focusing on technology and digital infrastructure, the Digital Silk Road aims to enhance telecommunications, e-commerce, and data sharing among BRI countries. This project not only serves economic interests but also allows China to extend its technological influence, raising concerns in the U.S. about cybersecurity and data privacy. Strategic implications for U.S. global dominance. The BRI has significant implications for U.S. global dominance, as it actively seeks to reshape the international order by establishing China as a leading global player. The strategic implications can be categorized as follows. 1. Geopolitical competition. The BRI is perceived by many as a means for China to challenge U.S. hegemony, particularly in Asia. By building infrastructure and fostering economic ties in developing countries, China seeks to create a sphere of influence that could marginalize U.S. interests. The competition for influence in regions like South Asia, Southeast Asia, and Africa poses direct challenges to U.S. foreign policy and strategic interests. 2. Economic leverage. Through investments in critical infrastructure, China gains economic leverage over participating countries. This leverage can be used to secure favorable trade agreements and political alliances, potentially undermining U.S. economic interests. The reliance on Chinese financing for infrastructure projects can create dependencies that limit the ability of countries to align with U.S. policies. 3. Soft power diplomacy. The BRI serves as a platform for China to enhance its soft power by promoting narratives of development cooperation and mutual benefit. However, disparities between public diplomacy narratives and actual project outcomes can lead to skepticism and resistance among recipient countries, undermining the effectiveness of China's soft power strategy. 4. Regional stability concerns. While the BRI aims to promote regional stability through economic development, it may inadvertently exacerbate tensions in regions with existing conflicts. Local opposition to BRI projects, often fueled by concerns over environmental degradation and lack of transparency, can lead to unrest that destabilizes regions critical to U.S. interests. 5. Technological competition. The Digital Silk Road underscores a broader strategic competition in technology. As China seeks to expand its technological influence, the U.S. faces challenges in maintaining its leadership in innovation and cybersecurity. The BRI's focus on technology infrastructure can create a new landscape in which China sets the standards for digital engagement. 6. Perceptions of U.S. commitment. As countries engage with the BRI, perceptions of U.S. commitment to global development may wane. The lack of a cohesive U.S. strategy to counter the BRI could lead to diminished influence in regions traditionally aligned with American interests, further complicating U.S. foreign policy objectives. Implementation challenges. The ambitious nature of the BRI is met with numerous implementation challenges. These include financial sustainability. Many BRI projects face questions about their financial sustainability, with concerns that participating countries may struggle to repay loans, leading to debt crises. Local governance issues. Implementation often suffers from inadequate local governance, with projects facing bureaucratic hurdles and corruption. Geopolitical tensions. BRI projects can exacerbate existing geopolitical tensions, as seen in the cases of CPC and Sri Lanka, where local sentiments and international relations complicate progress. Environmental concerns. The environmental impact of infrastructure projects has raised alarms among local communities and international observers, leading to resistance against projects deemed harmful. Conclusion. The Belt and Road Initiative represents a significant shift in global economic and geopolitical dynamics, posing challenges to U.S. global dominance. As China seeks to expand its influence through key infrastructure projects, the implications for international relations, economic dependencies, and regional stability are profound. The BRI's dual nature, as both a tool for China's geopolitical ambitions and a means of domestic economic reform, underscores the complexity of its impact on the global order. The United States, in response, must reassess its strategies, focusing on building partnerships and offering alternatives to BRI investments that align with U.S. values and interests. As the BRI continues to evolve, its outcomes will shape not only the future of China but also the trajectory of global power relations in the 21st century. The Belt and Road Initiative (BRI) has been a focal point of international discourse since its inception, and it has been interpreted in multifaceted ways that can yield counterintuitive insights regarding its strategic implications for U.S. global dominance. Below are some notable counterintuitive aspects derived from the BRI-related content provided. 1. Domestic versus international focus. While many perceive the BRI primarily as an initiative designed to expand China's global influence and challenge U.S. hegemony, a significant counterintuitive insight is that the initiative is also heavily motivated by domestic economic needs. Scholars argue that the BRI serves as a mechanism for China to alleviate overcapacity in its industries and stabilize its economy. This suggests that instead of being merely an external strategy aimed at undermining U.S. influence, the BRI may also be a reflection of internal economic pressures that require international markets for sustenance. 2. Perception management versus reality. The Chinese government promotes the BRI as a win-win strategy aimed at mutual benefit, however. The counterintuitive reality is that the outcomes often diverge significantly from the narrative. Many BRI projects face implementation challenges due to financial mismanagement, lack of coherent planning, and the diverse local interests of partner countries. This inconsistency between China's diplomatic messaging and the actual delivery of benefits raises questions about the effectiveness of its soft power strategy and suggests that the BRI could inadvertently damage China's international reputation if local stakeholders feel let down. 3. Globalization versus sovereignty. The BRI is often framed within the context of globalization and economic interdependence, yet it simultaneously raises concerns about sovereignty and dependence. Many countries engaging with the BRI express fears of falling into debt trap diplomacy. However, some analyses suggest that the perception of BRI as a tool for coercive diplomacy may be overblown. Despite high-profile cases of debt distress, evidence shows that asset seizures are rare, indicating that many countries have managed to navigate their engagements in ways that do not compromise their sovereignty to the extent feared. This implies that countries may have more agency in dealing with Chinese investments than the prevailing narrative suggests. For strategic intent versus implementation gaps, the BRI is often interpreted as a grand strategy for establishing a new global order dominated by China, yet the practical implementation reveals significant gaps. The initiative is characterized by inconsistency in project execution, which can lead to failures or delays in crucial infrastructure developments. This indicates that China may not have as cohesive a strategy as perceived. Instead, it may be responding adaptively to a complex global landscape that does not always align with its strategic ambitions. As such, while the BRI aims to enhance China's global stature, its execution may fall short, inadvertently providing openings for the U.S. and other powers to counter China's influence. 5. Geopolitical rivalry versus cooperation. The BRI is frequently portrayed as a direct challenge to U.S. dominance in Asia and beyond. However, counterintuitively, the initiative has spurred some degree of cooperation between China and other major powers. For instance, countries like Japan and India are increasingly recognizing the need to engage with China in infrastructure development as a means to ensure their own economic interests are served. This suggests a nuanced geopolitical landscape where the BRI is not solely a zero-sum game but rather a context in which cooperation might emerge even amidst rivalry. 6. Narrative consistency versus local realities. The narrative around the BRI is presented as cohesive and strategically aligned with China's broader foreign policy goals. In contrast, the implementation on the ground often reveals a patchwork of local interests and conditions that can frustrate the original intentions of BRI projects. This disconnect underscores the complexity of international relations, where local governance issues and regional dynamics can significantly modify the trajectory of what is intended as a unified initiative. In summary, the BRI embodies a complex interplay of international diplomacy and domestic policy. The counterintuitive aspects surrounding the initiative reveal that while it is presented as a strategic tool for enhancing China's global influence, it is equally shaped by domestic imperatives, local realities, and the intricate dynamics of international relations. These insights challenge conventional narratives about the BRI's role in global geopolitics and highlight the nuanced effects it may have on U.S. dominance and global power structures. The report on the Belt and Road Initiative BRI encapsulates a range of critical themes that are often overshadowed by broader narratives surrounding China's global ambitions. Here are several important aspects that individuals might overlook along with their significance. 1. Public diplomacy narratives versus implementation gaps. While many focus on the BRI as a tool for geopolitical dominance, the report emphasizes the dissonance between China's public diplomacy narratives and the actual implementation of projects. The BRI is often portrayed by Xi Jinping and the Chinese government as a mutually beneficial initiative aimed at global economic development. However, the reality reveals numerous discrepancies. Significance: this inconsistency is significant because it informs how nations perceive China's intentions and it shapes the diplomatic landscape. If local stakeholders have different interpretations of the BRI based on their economic and political interests, this can lead to friction and misunderstandings. Moreover, it raises concerns about China's credibility and reliability as a global partner. 2. The role of domestic economic needs. The report stresses that the BRI serves not only as a means for China to expand its global influence but also as a critical tool for addressing domestic economic challenges. It aims to alleviate issues like overcapacity, regional stability, and the need for new markets for Chinese goods. Significance: this domestic angle often goes unnoticed in discussions about the BRI's international implications. Understanding that the BRI is also a response to internal pressures allows for a more nuanced interpretation of China's foreign policy, which is not solely about global hegemony but also about internal stability and economic health. This dual purpose complicates the narrative of the BRI as a purely strategic geopolitical maneuver. 3. Financial mismanagement and project failures. Implementation challenges such as financial mismanagement, lack of coordination, and local governance issues are extensively covered in the report. Many BRI projects have faced delays and failures that are often glossed over in media portrayals of China's ambitious infrastructure plans. Significance: awareness of these failures is crucial for understanding the BRI's viability. If many projects face significant hurdles, it challenges the perception of the BRI as an unstoppable force in global infrastructure development. It also raises questions about the sustainability of China's investment strategies and the long-term effects on countries that may become overly reliant on Chinese financing. 4. Variety of international interpretations. The report identifies 5 different international interpretations of the BRI, ranging from views of it as a strategic move to counter U.S. influence to perspectives that see it as primarily a tool for domestic economic reform. Significance: this plurality of interpretations underscores the complexity of international relations and the varied responses from different countries based on their own geopolitical concerns. For policymakers, recognizing these diverse interpretations is essential for crafting effective diplomatic strategies, whether to counter-engage with or leverage the BRI for their own national interests. 5. Historical context and cultural narratives. The report discusses how the BRI is framed within a historical context, drawing parallels to the ancient Silk Road. This historical narrative serves to legitimize the initiative and connect it to a sense of national pride and cultural revival in China. Significance: the cultural framing of the BRI is often overlooked but is significant as it resonates with both domestic and international audiences. It taps into notions of historical continuity and national identity, potentially fostering greater acceptance of the BRI among partner countries. Understanding this aspect can aid in analyzing not just the economic but also the ideological underpinnings of the BRI. 6. Impact of global events on BRI dynamics. The report notes the impact of global events such as the COVID-19 pandemic on the BRI's implementation. The pandemic has exposed vulnerabilities in the initiative and has led to delays and re-evaluations of existing projects. Significance: the ability of the BRI to adapt to global crises is an important factor that can influence its future trajectory. Understanding how external shocks can reshape international collaboration and investment strategies is critical for assessing the BRI's resilience and adaptability in an ever-changing global environment. 7. Debt diplomacy versus sustainable development. The narrative of debt trap diplomacy has been a common critique of the BRI. However, the report suggests that many of these claims may be exaggerated and that the real issues often lie in the lack of sustainable planning and execution. Significance: this distinction is vital for assessing the ethical implications of China's global investments. By focusing on sustainability rather than merely framing the BRI as a tool for coercion, stakeholders can engage in more constructive dialogues about collaboration and development that benefit all parties involved. Conclusion: the report on the Belt and Road Initiative encompasses complex themes that go beyond the surface-level understanding of China's geopolitical strategy. Focusing on the nuanced dynamics of public narratives versus actual implementation, the interplay of domestic and international interests, and the broader historical and cultural contexts provides essential insights into the initiative's implications for global power dynamics. Recognizing these often overlooked aspects is crucial for policymakers, analysts, and scholars aiming to navigate the intricacies of contemporary international relations shaped by the BRI. 1. Strategic implications for U.S. global dominance. The Belt and Road Initiative (BRI) is seen as a crucial player in the geopolitical arena with direct implications for U.S. influence. By developing strategic infrastructure projects in Asia, Europe, and Africa, China aims to secure trade routes and resources, challenging the U.S. hegemony in these regions. This aspect of the BRI reflects China's ambitions to reshape the global order, presenting a multifaceted challenge to U.S. global dominance. 2. Public diplomacy narratives versus implementation. An essential point of analysis is the discrepancy between the public diplomacy narratives promoted by the Chinese government regarding the BRI and the actual implementation of the projects. While China frames the BRI as a win-win economic initiative promoting mutual benefits, many projects often encounter local governance issues, financial mismanagement, and lack of coherence in execution. This inconsistency raises questions about the credibility and effectiveness of China's messaging and the BRI's actual impact on participating countries. 3. International interpretations and domestic motivations. The BRI has been interpreted in various ways both internationally and domestically. While some view it as a strategic effort by China to establish a new world order, others argue it primarily addresses domestic economic challenges such as overcapacity and regional stability. This dual interpretation suggests that the BRI serves as both a tool for foreign policy and a means of addressing internal economic pressures, which complicates its global perception and effectiveness. For implementation challenges, despite the ambitious goals of the BRI, its implementation faces significant challenges, including lack of coordination between Chinese and partner countries' governments, financing difficulties, and local governance problems. Many projects have experienced delays or failures, highlighting a gap between the grand vision of the BRI and the practical realities on the ground. These challenges not only hinder the success of the initiative but also impact China's international reputation and its relationships with partner countries. Here are 3 famous historical cases that are similar in nature to the Belt and Road Initiative (BRI) in terms of strategic infrastructure, economic diplomacy, and geopolitical implications. 1. The Marshall Plan 1948–1952. After World War II, the United States initiated the Marshall Plan to aid the economic recovery of Western European nations. Officially known as the European Recovery Program, it provided over $12 billion, approximately $130 billion in today's dollars, in economic assistance to help rebuild European economies. The goal was not only to prevent the spread of communism but also to create strong trading partners for the U.S. The Marshall Plan is often cited as a successful example of economic diplomacy that strengthened U.S. influence in Europe and established a framework for future economic cooperation. 2. The Silk Road, 2nd century BCE, 14th century CE. The ancient Silk Road was a network of trade routes that connected the East and West, facilitating not only trade in silk and spices but also the exchange of culture, technology, and ideas. The Silk Road played a crucial role in the economic and cultural interactions between different civilizations, including China, Persia, India, and the Mediterranean. The strategic implications of the Silk Road were significant as it helped establish China as a major economic power and influenced various empires' diplomatic relationships. The BRI is sometimes viewed as a modern reincarnation of the Silk Road, aiming to enhance connectivity and trade across Asia, Europe, and Africa. 3. The Pan American Highway 1923-present. The Pan American Highway is a network of roads stretching across the Americas from Prudhoe Bay, Alaska in the north to Ushuaia, Argentina in the south. Although it was not completed as a single continuous road due to the Darien Gap, the project aimed to promote economic and cultural connections between North and South America. The initiative has been significant for fostering trade, tourism, and cultural exchange in the region. Additionally, it has had geopolitical implications as the U.S. sought to strengthen its influence and prevent the spread of communism in Latin America during the Cold War, similar to concerns surrounding the BRI and U.S. influence in Asia and beyond. The Belt and Road Initiative (BRI) is a monumental undertaking by China designed to expand its influence and foster economic connectivity across Asia, Europe, and Africa through infrastructure and investment projects. As we look to the future, several predictions can be made regarding the implications of the BRI for global dynamics, particularly concerning U.S. dominance. 1. Increased global influence for China. The BRI is expected to enhance China's global standing significantly. As countries engage with the initiative, they may become more economically reliant on China, which could lead to a shift in global power dynamics. This growing influence may challenge U.S. hegemony, particularly in regions like Southeast Asia and Africa, where U.S. engagement has historically been weaker. 2. Strategic partnerships and alliances. China is likely to continue forming strategic partnerships with countries involved in the BRI. These alliances will not only bolster China's economic interests but could also lead to a reconfiguration of geopolitical alliances, as countries may choose to align more closely with China to gain access to BRI resources and infrastructure projects, thereby positioning the U.S. as a less dominant force on the world stage. 3. Sustainability and debt concerns. As the BRI expands, concerns about debt sustainability among partner countries are likely to grow. While China promotes the initiative as a means of mutual benefit, the reality of debt trap diplomacy could lead to backlash against China. This may prompt countries to reconsider their participation in the initiative or seek more balanced partnerships, which could diminish the effectiveness of the BRI over time. For the technological and digital Silk Road, the future of the BRI may increasingly encompass a digital dimension as China seeks to lead in technological innovation and infrastructure, including digital connectivity. This digital Silk Road could reshape global trade and communication networks, potentially giving China an upper hand in influencing global tech standards, further challenging U.S. tech dominance. 5. Geopolitical tensions. The BRI may exacerbate geopolitical tensions, especially between the U.S. and China. As China expands its influence through the BRI, the U.S. may respond with countermeasures such as strengthening alliances with countries opposing the BRI or enhancing its military presence in strategic areas. This could lead to a more confrontational international environment. 6. Domestic challenges for China. While the BRI aims to bolster China's global influence, it also presents domestic challenges. Economic slowdowns, rising nationalism in partner countries, and criticisms of China's governance model could hinder the BRI's progress. If domestic issues persist, they may limit China's ability to effectively project power abroad. 7. Evolution of global trade routes. The BRI has the potential to reshape global trade routes by enhancing connectivity between Asia, Europe, and Africa. This could lead to a reorientation of trade patterns, impacting established routes dominated by Western powers and potentially reducing the economic influence of the U.S. and its allies in global trade. 8. Public perception and soft power. The effectiveness of the BRI will depend on public perception in partner countries. If the BRI is viewed positively as a means of development and cooperation, it could enhance China's soft power. Conversely, if it is associated with exploitation or neocolonialism, it could lead to increased resistance against Chinese influence. thereby affecting its long-term strategic goals. 9. Crisis management and resilience. The COVID-19 pandemic highlighted vulnerabilities in global supply chains and international cooperation. The BRI may evolve to incorporate more resilient infrastructure and crisis management strategies to address future global challenges, potentially enhancing its appeal to partner countries seeking stability. 10. Multilateralism versus bilateralism. The BRI may lead to a shift towards more multilateral approaches in international relations as countries seek to form coalitions to engage with China. However, this could also result in increased bilateral agreements, complicating the global governance landscape and leading to fragmented international cooperation. In summary, the future outlook for the Belt and Road Initiative is complex and multifaceted. While it offers opportunities for China to expand its global influence, it also poses significant challenges and risks that could reshape international relations and the balance of power, particularly in relation to U.S. dominance. The initiative's success will depend on China's ability to navigate these dynamics and respond to both domestic and international pressures effectively.